everybody. Welcome to the Game Junkie Show. I'm your host, Crystal, and I'm joined today by these handsome motherfuckers from the One Up podcast. If you didn't know, now you know. So y'all say hey to my boy, Tony. What's up?
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Y'all know my big favorite teddy bear, Pucho.
Thank you. How you doing?
My favorite laugh on Twitter, Uncle Doughy.
Yo, what's up? What's going on?
And Mateo, what it is.
Crystal, I hope you're really good at herding cats. I hope you're so good at herding cats because we are distracted by every shiny object that pops into a conversation. We're a mess.
That's fine. I got a lot of cats, and I've been known back in the day to be pretty good with pussy, so I got this. So listen. So look. If you guys haven't checked out the One Up podcast, or you haven't interacted with these guys online, I want to tell you a little something about them. They're really, really good at controversy, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Here's the deal: people don't know how to debate anymore, and we're going to talk a little bit about this and dig into it. So when these guys jump into these conversations and debate, it's because they really want to know your opinion. These guys are all about knowledge. They're about trying to understand, where do you come from and why do you feel this way? And oh, by the way, I would like for you to hear my opinion too. And that is something I think that we need to talk about, because the gaming space can be kind of like, you can kind of feel like the odd man out. Like if you don't like something popular, maybe you do like something popular, and then you're one of those fucking casuals that are ruining gaming, man. So there's opinions can be an absolutely beautiful thing, and we kind of want to talk about that and maybe share some of our own controversial opinions and have some fun with it. So Pucho, why do you think people are sometimes so averse to debating? Like, why do you think things get so damn hot so easy?
I mean, it reminds me of like the fanboyism stuff. I think like as people get attached, like when people become a fan of something, they just become attached to that thing. And then anytime people critique it, they view it as like a personal attack on them. And then at that point, then it gets very emotional and heated, and everybody's like I don't know, it gets very tribal really quickly. I don't know. It'd be nice if people could just have conversation and acknowledge, like, hey, I love this stuff. There's some problems with it. Like, there's problems with everything. Like, I don't know. It's kind of shitty that like anytime there's any kind of critique thrown at something that people like, it's like everybody throws this big tantrum. People start subtweeting each other. Like, it's like, they're not quote tweeting you, but they're going to tweet about what you tweeted, and only the people who saw the other tweet are going to understand. And I don't know, everybody's like throwing shit around. I think it's kind of shitty. But
Pooch, do you remember a few weeks ago when I told you to listen to the Mac Miller album?
You subtweeted me.
You gave one critique and it was over. I got so upset. I'm like, how? I started clutching my pearls. I said, how dare you?
What was the critique?
I just said it sounded a little mumble rappy, and that's not even an insult. It's just a style of hip hop, and I was just like this old album sounded like, you could say, ahead of its time. It's like before the mumble rap kind of like took over in hip hop. And I was just like, oh, this sounds a little mumble rappy. I was like, I listened to half of it. I'm gonna listen to the other half. It sounds a little mumble, and then Doughy got so offended. So
I was so offended.
Do you remember when it was?
Mac
you remember when it was
rappy?
Do you remember when it was cooling off and you called him a SoundCloud rapper?
Who called him a SoundCloud rapper?
He did. He came up off of SoundCloud. They started doing the information afterwards, and he's more of a. He came up in that SoundCloud era, like 2010, 2015. There was a bunch of rappers that came out through SoundCloud, got really super popular. Playboy Cardi's one of them. He's huge now. But yeah, I think sometimes you attach yourself, just like Pucho said. Pucho worded it really good. You love these pieces of art, pieces of work, music, sounds. There's like a lot of things that go with it. And you attach yourself to it. So that when these people talk bad about something, you kind of feel like you're being attacked. And nobody likes Oblivion for PS3, the Elder Scrolls. I would play this game in my apartment, and I'd I've had Pucho and Tony over so tight. Yo, why are you forcing us to watch this game? And
Shit is terrible. You would just fucking bunny hop everywhere you fucking go. I was like, yo, what are you doing? Increasing my jump by 3%. Like, who the fuck? I don't want to watch this shit. Like, get the shit out of here. Terrible.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. I mean, and that makes sense to me, right? I feel like when somebody gets offended by something, it's because they have an emotional response to what was happening. And it's not just gaming, right? I mean, it's pretty much anything. We see that in, oh my God, sports fans. I had to back away from sports fans. Like, y'all be loving Tom Brady too much. Like, y'all got to like, y'all got to back up with that dude, because now I'm stuck with him down here in Tampa Bay, God damn it. But that's
you're in Tampa. So you're a Bucks fan?
Nope.
What who are you a fan of?
I was a fan of Peyton Manning, but now
Okay.
it's like, I don't know, football just ain't the same. And fucking Tom, it's a fucking Tom show. No, Tom. God, like, there's other fucking people that play football, right? Like, it's.
So you don't really have a team. You follow players.
I
pretty
followed
much.
him. Yeah, he got me.
Okay.
I really loved him, and then he retired, and I'm kind of like, yeah, it's back to the Tom show. So
Pucho, I've got a follow up question for you on your answer to Crystal there. Is it a product of capitalism? These like this? No, I'm serious. This sounds like it's a troll answer for Pooch, because I know the Pooch is like a super capitalist. But is it a product of capitalism? Because think back to like the old school gaming rivalries, Sega versus Nintendo. It's you get invested in where you spend your money, and the consoles are expensive. Consoles especially used to be expensive back in the day, especially for what you were getting.
That's a good question.
And there was like the ads like Sega does what Nintendo don't, and they built in this rivalry. Have we just carried that on to the modern day of gaming?
I mean, it's totally possible. Like it probably is cyclical. Like it probably feeds into itself. Like somebody who spent a lot of money, right, to buy like, let's say a Nintendo or a Super Nintendo. It's like they probably don't have the money to also buy a Sega, right? So it's like you've made a decision. It's like you've joined the tribe, whether you thought you were doing it or not. And then anybody you talk to, all your friends, like you might have some Sega friends, you know, those weirdos that were like, you know, hanging around and stuff. But you know, then you guys are gonna end up having arguments about like what's better and oh, you don't have Sonic on your console and blah blah blah. And then of course with the marketing material that they're feeding into that same thing, it's hard to tell where this comes from, I guess. But it certainly feels cyclical, like it feeds back into itself. Like I could totally see it as like Sega did that marketing because people felt that way already, and it was going to feed into kind of the fanboyism, for lack of a better term.
I never thought about that aspect at all. I'm glad you brought that up.
It really kicked off once the Xbox came out, and it was Xbox versus or Microsoft versus Sony. And at that point, you had a debate who was going to be your friend or not, because like as a collective group, we all have to be on the same system. So if one of us got Xbox and the rest of us got Sony, like no, we're not switching over at all. You know what I mean? So it's like I've been a Sony guy since the beginning. I did switch to Xbox when Xbox One dropped, and these guys still stayed. They were giving me shit for it, but eventually I came back, and I don't see nothing wrong with both consoles. I prefer Sony because of all the exclusives they had and all that. But at the same time, that Xbox controller just changed the game for console gaming. There's nothing that thing can't. It just feels natural in your hand, and I don't know. They did a good job with the PS5 controller though. So
Tony's not letting you know that why we got so pissed off, because he kept showboating his new Xbox on everywhere, Xbox off. He'd record videos of him playing Battlefield, and he's like, "Oh yeah, Xbox exclusive headshot." He'd snipe somebody from like 1,000 meters away. Xbox exclusive. It's the worst.
Yeah, I was a little bit obnoxious with it, but it's fine.
He had to double down on his decision because he knew that people were going to give him shit for it, you know.
But it sounds like all of these things kind of go into play when you think about the emotional response, right? And I actually really love what Mateo said. We were kind of, I mean, if you think about like rivalry, right? Like capitalism is I mean, it's business, right? Sony and Microsoft, business is number one. I mean, I don't think they really give a fuck about us. They care about what we spend on. I mean, and that's just the bottom line. So maybe we've been kind of taught over the years that we're supposed to have this rivalry instinct, and we're competitive by nature as gamers. Are we? Or because I think so. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. There was one time we all tried to race to beat The Last of Us 2. It was a hot mess. Yo, it was so unhealthy.
Yeah,
Who won?
when the
I won
Last of
that.
Us 2 came out, it was like everybody was giving each other the progress reports. Like, oh, I made it to this part. People started lying about how far they've gotten to kind of make people feel like they need to hurry up and like get further. It was terrible.
I zoomed through that shit so quick that these guys were upset. And I think they all started before me, but by the next thing you know, I was like chapters in. They were like, "Yo, where are you?" And then next thing you know, Pucho's one of those guys. He's secret. I'm not competitive at all. Meanwhile, he's in the background, fucking boosting his way up to catch up to you. You're like, "Wait, where the fuck are you?" "Oh, you're right behind me." I'm like, "Oh shit!" Like you caught up, but it's just how it is in gaming. Like if you're a gamer, a true gamer, you're competitive as fuck. I don't care how much you say. Nah, I don't care if you beat me. Secretly in the back of your mind, you're already plotting on how to destroy that person. Just
Okay,
how
I'll
it
give
is.
you that. Like, I'm not a big multiplayer person, but then like if push comes to shove, I'll get fucking competitive. So that is
Yeah.
true. Like I love Sackboy, but then like
Mm.
if I start playing with friends and like we start getting into those time trials, motherfucker, you get in my way, I'm bipping your puppet ass off this map. Like we going. That's like I don't even care. Like my friends' kids, I'm like, you're not holding me back. I don't give a fuck that you're 5. Bam.
Fuck them
Like
kids.
Fuck them kids.
like I don't let kids win either. Like you're about to learn how to play some Mario Kart today because I'm gonna fuck you up. Like you don't have to
Yeah.
beat me for real. So,
No fucking
My-
mercy.
100%. My nephew still has not beat me in any video game, and I dread the day that he finally beats me in something.
but that's how he's gonna beat you. Is you give him. It's like you're like his Bloodborne training. Like you're giving him
Damn.
that challenge.
Yeah.
I know that's so controversial. Like Crystal fucking hates kids. The Game Junkie Show fucking hates kids. I know, right? Fucking A. So speaking of The Last of Us 2, I mean, do you guys feel like, fuck, dude, that game still is fucking controversial as shit. Like people are still fucking bitching
Yeah.
about it. Is it the emotional attachment that they had to Joel? For some people, I'm not saying
Yes.
everybody, but do you think that like sometimes the love we have for this medium goes so deep that some people just can't separate that from reality?
Yeah, for sure. I like Joel, but when he died, I was shocked, but I was happy about it in a way. Because it's like no, seriously, because it was like, okay, this star, everybody loved this guy in this story. He finally gets clapped, like in a crazy way. And then all of a sudden, now we got a new star, who was the co-star, but now she's the main star. And it's just like, I'm down with it. Like sometimes a hero's gotta die for the game to get better. Like you get more attached to it. Like I'm attached to the game still. Even though people are gonna be like, this guy never played. What the fuck's he talking about? Last of Us. He doesn't know nothing. But it's like, nah. Like sometimes someone like that's gotta die for you to be really like, damn, this is game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That's
Yeah.
how I am.
I'm with you. I mean, I liked Joel, but I kind of felt like he had that coming. That game affected me for sure. That game. Let's do a shot to Joel.
Cheers
To
to
Joel.
Joel.
And there's tears in this beer of all the people out there who are just fucking haters that need to just play other video games and stop whining.
That's right.
And those haters are the ones that have like 1 or 2 games. That's it. They don't play nothing else.
Joel was wrong though. You should sacrifice the one to save the many.
I mean, in an apocalypse, most people would be sacrificing the one to save the many.
I'll sacrifice dough time and time again.
Oh.
I mean, I think Pucho and I had a very in-depth discussion about this. If you were theoretically really in that situation, like the apocalypse is upon us and you can like sacrifice someone else's child to save your own and everybody else you love, you're probably going to do it.
Yeah.
Exactly. But if you were told you need to give up your daughter,
no way.
Like the gravity of that decision is insane. Like I just had a little girl myself, and the idea of that decision, like I understand the and that's not Joel's daughter per se, but it's like Ellie became kind of like the surrogate that replaced like the daughter he did lost at the beginning of this thing. The daughter he did lose, I should say.
For sure.
So I don't know. I've been crazy attached to Joel. Like when he died the way he did, I was hurt by it. I was like, oh man, they killed my dog Joel. And then when they forced me to play as Abby, I hated it. I was like, I don't want to play as this is the sack of shit that killed my boy. Like I can't do this. Like so like I felt a lot of feelings, and I feel like that speaks to the quality of like I think if a game doesn't make you feel anything, not that it's not good, but it's just it's subpar compared to things that do make you feel things. Like even negative emotion is powerful.
Wow.
I like like my lasting impression of The Last of Us 2. I like the first game better than the second game, but I'm like I feel way more emotions from the second game. Like I still have mixed feelings about that experience. Like it's an amazing game, but I haven't replayed it yet. Like, and I want to, but I just haven't done it yet.
It's hard. And I just want to go on the record. If you don't like the game for like real person reasons, that's fine. You don't have to like the game. But like people who are really just like fucking radical and crazy and let some form of hate like that's just something I don't understand that I don't get down. I mean, what do you guys think that hate stems from the same place, an irrational emotional disconnect or connect to something?
I think it comes from a place of fear a lot of times, honestly. Fear of the other, fear of yourself, fear of parts of yourself you're not accepting. Like I think fear is a big root of a lot of hate in the world.
Yeah, and I feel like it all sort of kind of has the same roots, so to speak. What other game is controversial? Have you guys? Am I the only one here that's played Cyberpunk, or has anybody?
I played like the first 10 minutes, and it was so sketchy. Like it was just not working for me. I'm like, I'm gonna wait until this game gets updated, and then I never played it.
It was actually really bad at launch.
That might have been yesterday, though. I read an article on Kotaku that was saying that Cyberpunk has started receiving a bunch of positive Steam reviews because they finally fixed a lot of the bugs in the game. And it's on sale right now with the Steam sale. So there's that.
I mean, let's talk about that controversy for a minute, because I think, too, if we're going to be critical of things, we have to be honest at the same time. So while after the patches, I feel like they made a great game, I'm not going to sit here and cap and say it wasn't a fucking disastrous launch. Yeah. Like, you don't fuck over consumers like that. You sold that shit knowing it wouldn't fucking work to millions of people. That's fucked up.
It's kind of like what they do now, though. I mean, like look at No Man's Sky. Then all the disaster of that release. Look at Battlefield 2042. Battlefield 2042 is filled with bugs right now. Tony hasn't personally experienced them, but I've seen shit all over Twitter. I've seen articles on Kotaku and IGN. Like I've seen articles everywhere about the various bugs.
There's a couple bugs. It ain't like Cyberpunk bugs. No, this is not crazy.
Don't act like Pucho didn't give us that video. Yo, we saw a hovercraft going straight up a wall.
That's meant to happen, boys. That's meant to happen. All right.
Oh, is it really? That's the 2042 physics.
Yeah. A hovercraft drove straight up at like a skyscraper, just like vertical, just vertical. It looked insane.
So then let me ask you this. Let me ask you this then. So from in your opinions, if a game is released and it's buggy, is that different than a game releasing buggy that is sold on base consoles it was really never going to work for? I mean, like how much deeper is the CDPR shade for what they did there?
I think with CD Red, everybody had so much good faith in them that people didn't think they would do something that a EA would do or an Activision would do. We kind of were like, oh, CD Red is on our side. You remember all the shit you got when you opened up the case for The Witcher 3? I really didn't even like that game, but the amount of shit they were giving you for free, and it just felt like they put so much love and quality into it. You're like, oh, this is different than what I'm used to seeing when I open up a Call of Duty case. You know what I mean? So I think with them, you just were shocked that they were even planning to release this game in this state. It just, for me, was shocking.
I feel like they were rushed. Some way, somehow, they were rushed. And they knew that game was fucking janky as shit. Then janky's putting it nice, but I feel like they're a rush. Somebody up in the big table room up there was just like, I don't give a fuck. It's gotta go. It's gotta go. And now they're paying for it because really no one plays that game, and that game had great potential to be awesome, but they fucked that shit up bad. Now everybody has a bad taste in the mouth. So next time another game drops, some people are going to be like, I'll wait for the reviews and stuff before I go and purchase it off rip.
I mean, it still has a lot of potential, believe it or not. Like the internet today is a little bit more radical than it was before. Like, I don't know if y'all remember, right? But The Witcher 3 was a buggy mess. Like,
Yeah.
right? Like, I remember, like, every single item you picked up would weigh like you would be you would be weighed down. Like Geralt would stop walking, you have to dump apples. Like it was so fucking annoying. Like I played through that, right? But then like Doughy said, they gave you so much stuff. Like they promised like 12 DLCs for free and things like that. Like that was cool, you know? So I think that was maybe cynical means like, oh, maybe this is like some kind of marketing thing. They're trying to show you I'm giving you things so maybe the fan base could feel, you know, better about the state of the game. And over time it got better. And or look at what's Fallout New Vegas, right? People tout that as the best Fallout game that's ever came out. When that game came out, GameStop gave that game like a 2.5 or like a 3.0 because of how terrible the bugs were. But now, years post-release, you know, it's been over 10 years, people love the game. So it's like the mood of the internet could change over time. Like initially, there's going to be a great shock and things like that. And it's wrong. People shouldn't be releasing a subpar product, promising all this stuff, charging you money, marketing one thing, giving you another thing. Like that's all fucked up. But just speaking to the quality of a game, it's like now that we're in this games as a service era and they could push updates at any time, a game could drastically change from release to, you know, 5 years later, 4 years later, the game could be different, you know?
Bro, they going
And
to
it could
fix
be-
Fallout 4?
Yeah.
Because that
So-
shit's, I'm playing it now for the 5th time, and I'm like, God damn, this shit's still fucking broken.
Make sure
Yeah.
you install that mod where Market stops bugging you. That's the most important mod to install when you're playing that game.
Where who?
What's his name? Marcus, the guy at the first settlement?
Oh,
name
no,
Marcus?
Preston.
Preston, that's his name.
Dude.
Yeah, there's
Wow,
a mod.
Mateo.
There's a mod to make him stop bugging you, because he was bugging me every 5 minutes. Like, oh, this settlement's under attack.
Oh, my God, that motherfucker. For Freedom Radio. Fuck settlement. I don't give a fuck what settlement needs my help. Like, I'm about to go align with Nuka World and fucking blast y'all asses in a minute. Like, fuck you guys. I'm tired of that shit. So, okay. So, wait. Did anybody here finish Cyberpunk?
No,
No.
I haven't.
I never
Okay.
played it.
So just Doughy, you played a little bit and that's it.
Yeah,
I played like
Oh.
maybe I'm a completionist, so I was like in the first area. I didn't really progress the main storyline too much, but I did a shitload of like side quests, all type of stuff. I thoroughly enjoyed the game. I just got annoyed by like I'd be driving on a road and then I'd just fall through the earth, and I'm like, oh man, and like that happened to me a few times, and different things like that. I have it. I think it might still be installed. I'm just sort of waiting. I'm like, I'll give it a year. It'll be on there. I always circle back to games. So I'm like, I have full intentions on playing through it because I had a fun time while I played it. It was just certain things. I was like, I got locked out of the quest or two. I don't know, things like that. I don't know.
It's sad to see how much promise it had. It was actually a good game. I played it twice. It's actually good. So it's really sad to see something good get delivered that bad. And do you think if they had come out and been honest and said this isn't going to work for base systems, you should only get this if you have so and so of a PC or next gen console, or would the emotions of people, because remember, people were fucking hyped for this for years and years and years, with the emotions of those people have attacked them and made it even worse? Because like some people aren't really rational. So would it have necessarily been better if they were truthful?
I think. Go ahead.
That's why I said like they were rushed, because a game like that, like yeah, on PC it works fantastic, it's great, but once you go over to console, there's always an issue. So to me, I think somebody rushed them, because I believe they could have waited to the following year to drop Cyberpunk, and it would have been fantastic. They would have sold a whole bunch, almost the same amount of copies, if not more, and it wouldn't be buggy. But the issue with a lot of these companies, they just do copy and paste. Like my issue with gaming is that I'm paying $70 now for fucking games, and they're not done. It's ridiculous. I'm tired of these companies. Y'all make millions off of us gamers every fucking year. Then if you got microtransactions, you're making even more. Like, why can't y'all just drop a fucking game that fucking works? Like, I don't care. Charge me season passes. Fuck it. But at launch, that shit better fucking work. I don't care what it is. Like, that's why I stopped playing 2K. I fucking hate 2K. And I used to put hours. You can ask these guys. I used to put hours with two of our other friends. And it's a copy and paste. They didn't do nothing to the game. And it's still janky. It's still shitty. That's why I'm starting to cut a lot of games off. And it's just like Battlefield's one of those few games where I won't cut off because it's like I like FPS games, and Battlefield's one of those that I would always buy. But that too, like this the jankiness of that and all the little glitches and stuff is annoying because it's like, yo, I'm paying dollars for this game. Anybody here go and buy a car or go buy clothes, you're not gonna buy fucked up clothes or a fucked up car. You want it how it is, brand new. Simple as that. If they don't want to give me that shit, then we need to start canceling these motherfuckers. But Microsoft, fix your shit. Oh, Sony, fix your shit. You know, all these fix that shit. You know what I mean?
Imagine you buy a sweater without like the right arm, and they're like, "What the fuck is wrong with your sweater?" Oh man, I bought it at launch.
That's so funny.
Sweater when it launched.
But it's true. I'm trying to think what other industries can get away with that. And I mean, if you're a restaurant and you have a shitty launch, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Like nobody's coming back. Can you guys think of any other industry that's able to still maintain a consumer fan base without
the smart car industry? Anything Elon Musk does, his fanboys just eat that shit up.
McDonald's is a big one though.
The Teslas, I mean, they how many features they've added into the Teslas they promised initially when those things were releasing?
But is base Tesla a bad car though? I don't think a base Tesla is necessarily a bad car. I think just some of the features are missing that they were initially promised.
Just under promised, but I don't know. I'm still cracking up now. Imagine a chef delivering a raw steak, and you're like, "What the fuck?" And they're just like, "Hold on," and they whip out the bill.
Oh no, that's tartare. You're supposed to order it that way. Yeah. I learned that shit. Some fancy ass steak restaurant. You want to get the tartare? I'm like, what's that? Steak dip? Oh, steak dip. I'm thinking like salsa with fucking cooked ass steak in it. It's fucking raw ass. You just fucking ground the cow and put it on my plate, bitch. That ain't even like. That's fucking cheating.
No, the grossest thing I've heard about is chicken sashimi.
What's that?
Wait. Sashimi, you're supposed to eat raw. Motherfuckers eating raw chicken?
100%. It's a thing.
Where?
I've heard that there's a handful of restaurants in Japan that do it. They have some kind of they swear their chickens are the cleanest chickens in the world, and you can do chicken sashimi from there.
Salmonella don't come from not washing the chicken booty hole. That's not how that works.
Yeah. Whoa.
Oh, I don't even want to know.
That's scary.
Let me ask you guys this. Do you think that COVID and work from home environments has played a role in a lot of the recent launch woes or launch delays?
There's a lot of research saying that we've actually been more productive working from home than working from in the office. I don't know how accurate that is for the development industry where they do code reviews and things like that. Pucho might be able to speak a little bit more to that about how difficult it is to develop software remotely.
Yeah, the quality portion of it is a little tougher. And that's only depending on the type of software you're delivering. I'd imagine for the game industry, it's not that bad because they should have a decent number of dev kits available. I don't know if every developer gets a dev kit. I don't know how the game industry works like that. But I feel like the productivity has been much better remote. Everybody's been working. Everybody's been able to go to meetings and multitask at the same time instead of when you're in the office, people expect you to go to a room and sit down. That's a waste of time. I got to sit in a room for an hour, and talk shit. Go ahead.
No, I was just so it could play a role, but we really don't know for sure. Really, okay.
Yeah, I would imagine that for some things there's been a negative impact, and for other things it's been a positive impact.
So, how much of this is our responsibility as consumers? I mean, I'm going to just be honest with you. I've bought a lot of Ubisoft games at launch, and a lot of them have been pissing me off lately with the quality. So at what point am I the common denominator for that problem? Because it's like, motherfucker, you keep buying it and you know what you're going to get.
Pucho and I have said this on our podcast several times. The only thing that matters is where we spend our money. That's the only thing that matters in gaming, in anything, honestly, in anything in the world. The only thing that matters is where you spend your money. It's why I don't fuck with Activision and Blizzard games currently, because I don't like what's going on with the company. I know that my dollars don't actually matter in the grand scheme of things, but it's all I can do. I can either support the company or I cannot support the company.
Do you
And
think?
and then to double back to your question, like 2 questions ago, where you asked, had CD Projekt Red been more candid up front with the state of the game, told them, the base consoles don't work or whatever, it would have been good. They would have lost money, unfortunately, which is why I don't think they did it. I think the perception of the gamers would have been more positive. Like, people would be like, oh, at least they were honest. And a lot of people would have been pissed off, like, initially, those people that pre-ordered the game, or the people that were promised a PS4 or an Xbox One edition of this game that would work. They would be way more pissed off, right? But I think overall, everybody would have avoided those consoles, so the negative impacts would have been, from a perception perspective, right? The negative impacts would have been lessened. But I think monetarily, they would have lost money. There's a lot of games they just would have missed out on those sales.
Let's dig into that a little bit more, because we are focused on controversy, and we know the controversial people, right? The hardcore console warriors and the very vocal minority. Would they have absolutely pitched a fit because, well, I can't get a PS5, I can't get a Series X, I can't get one of these graphics cards. Now I can't fucking play a game I've been hyped for, and I'm mad that you could play it. So, I mean, I know you laugh, but it's like, we know those dynamics are there.
No, 100%.
So,
I'm just laughing because, like, you kind of walking through it. I'm like, this is totally what would happen.
I think,
and I vaguely feel like this has happened. Like, as these games have come out, and they'll be like, oh, the PS5 version is this much better than the PS4 version. Even if, say, there was no PS5 version, all those, like, old console gamers, they would have been totally content with the game they got. Now they know that the next gen console has an improved experience. They feel like they were robbed of an experience, and that, coupled with the fact that it's still difficult to get an Xbox Series X, it's still difficult to get a PS5. People feel jaded. Like, they feel like not only have they been robbed of an experience, they were never even given the opportunity to have that experience. So especially when these companies say, "Oh, the PS4 version, or the previous gen version is going to be totally good," and all that kind of stuff. When they see that, like, oh, PS5 Miles Morales works at, it runs at 60 FPS, and it has all these lighting improvements and all this other stuff, and there's this many more NPCs and all that kind of stuff. I feel like the perception from those gamers is way worse than it would have been if those options weren't available. And I don't exactly know what that speaks to. It's like, maybe that's like like the grass is always greener, or whatever, like that. Like, someone sees what someone else, like jealousy or envy or something like that. But I'm not sure.
I mean, there's a lot of validity in where that comes from. So I don't think
shots.
Emotions don't make you wrong. So if you really don't like a game and I like a game, I'm not right and you're not wrong. It's just kind of the way that it is. It's the way people treat people about it. And maybe they treat people the way they do because their emotions are so strong, because jealousy can be, I mean, a hell of a thing. I mean, does that sound kind of reasonable? And maybe trying to understand why there's just such toxic places on the fucking internet.
I think that the vocal minority is always going to find something to be upset about. I think that's just the way it's gonna be. Like the Spider-Man game. Pucho brought up Miles Morales. I'm thinking about the original Spider-Man game though. People were upset because they took puddles out between the teaser trailer of that game and the actual release, they were like, "Oh, they took out 3 puddles on this rooftop scene. This game is trash now." Like, what a weird thing to be upset about, them taking out 3 puddles from a game. But they were upset. There was a very vocal part of the internet that was upset about just that minor little change. I think you just can't please a lot of these people. I think there's just going to find something to be upset about.
It's like I understand why they're mad. Just like how shooting the Apple shit, right? Everybody, Twitter was going crazy about, like the apples, like how you shoot them and there's no fucking physical anything that happens to it. You know what I mean?
You talking about the Halo fruit shooting?
The fruit, fruit shoot gate.
So it's like, I get it. Like these next gen consoles, it's all about the powerful graphic, 4K, fucking 60 frames, 120, all this, right? So as a consumer, I want the best graphics. Certain games, obviously, you're not going to get that. You get what you get. You know what you're getting into with certain games, right? So, but when it comes to like Battlefield or Call of Duty or what is the other one, the Elder Scrolls and all those games, to me, even Dark Souls, they need to look fantastic. And yes, like if I kick a fucking barrel, that shit needs to be pushed. Like I like the physical, realistic gameplay of like when I play games, if that makes sense. Like if I shoot a glass, I want that shit to shatter or like a real life thing. I want it to be realistic as hell. But at the same time, a lot of gamers out there is like, I don't need that. I just want performance. Why not get both?
I mean, look at Halo Infinite. It doesn't have fully destructible environments.
Trash.
If you want to talk about like whether it's realistic or not, you throw a grenade and boxes aren't flying across the room.
Garbage.
But Halo Infinite is one of the tightest shooters that I've ever played in my life. I've been playing the multiplayer, and the controls are so tight. Your player feels weighty and heavy. They feel real.
For 2-year-olds, probably.
Oh my God.
Halo Infinite is for like kids who can't play real games, which I get.
Oh my
That's
God.
fine.
Tony, we were brought here as the people that can have these types of conversations.
I'm just giving my opinion.
No.
This is actually the moment I was waiting for. I really want Tony and Pucho to debate this out a little bit, because there's a difference between authenticity and realism. And if you give resources to one thing, you have to take it away from another. So would you want to lose some of that like weighty, like the shooter properties, the shooter qualities to have exploding fruit and windows but how much resources do you want to go to things that aren't as directly related to the gameplay?
This is where we find out if Tony did his homework and watched one of your previous episodes.
Yeah, I know. We kind of had this conversation.
Oh, he probably didn't, but that's okay.
Right.
But this is his opinion. He's allowed to be like, you know what? I want fucking fruit to explode. He's not out there going like, fuck you, motherfucker. Like he's teasing right now. He's not literally out there attacking people being toxic.
Right. The I guess the thing that gives me pause is like you can't shoot a fruit. The game is trash. It's for 2-year-olds. It's a very hyperbolic stance. Ultimately, no, you can't have both. Unfortunately, there's an amount of money that people are willing to, businesses are willing to pour into a product, because they need to make their money. Like ultimately, we're dealing with companies that are trying to make profits, right? So if they gave you, first off, it's laughable that we're talking about Halo being realistic. I mean, it's a space marine, right? Like how the guy, it's fake. It's fake as fuck.
The dude's you can say that with all games.
The dude's
all
like
games are fake.
He's like 7 feet tall. Like he's like a giant of a man.
Master Chief is? He's that big?
Yeah, he's like 7 foot something. Like he's supposed to be like a biologically engineered weapon. Basically, that's what the Spartan program is.
He's alpha as fuck. All right, so not very realistic.
So he's like a LeBron. He's just like a big, strong freak of nature. LeBron is like so big and so strong, but so freakishly agile and athletic. And it's like, how did this specimen get created? Like,
do you think? I thought you didn't like sport. It's like you're spot on with this.
I love sports. Sports fans were too much for me because they had too much of the same like crazy emotional attachment to these things, and I was like, I fucking can't with you people.
Do you think
it's too much?
Do you think the Halo fans, like the hardcore Halo fans, will be upset if they came out with a movie and LeBron played Master Chief? Do you think that would be an upsetting thing for these guys?
I think that there are plenty, unfortunately, I think that there are
Yeah.
plenty of people in this world who are ignorant enough to be racist, who would
Upset.
have an issue with it.
Yeah.
But like the fucking LeBron's fucking awesome and hot. Make him anything you want. I don't give a shit. It's fucking LeBron. Like,
But to go
fucking
back to
LeBron.
the
But-
question,
sorry, just plenty of the Xbox people that I've made connections with, like people like Joey on Twitter and stuff like that.
Oh.
I think they'd be thrilled. I think they'd be thrilled to have.
Oh, I think
LeBron
most
James play
people.
Master Chief.
We're talking about a very small
Yeah.
group of people that are just really loud about being obnoxious. Most
Yeah.
people are just to clarify, most people are all right.
But yeah, just to go back, like, why can't we have both, Pooch? Like, why can't I have the cake and the ice cream? Why can't I have both? Like,
That's
why
what I'm
can't I
saying.
have graphics and performance? Why not? Like, these guys got millions, billions of fucking money. If it takes you 2 years to make the perfect game, I'll wait 2 years for the perfect game.
It's hardware
It's not.
resources. That's
It's
why
not.
it's
Yeah,
hard.
it's-
It's hardware resources.
Then,
Yeah.
then I need to just switch to PC. If PC
Yeah.
can give me that, then fuck it. PC
Well,
Master Race, here I come. But
it's not
you don't get that either.
PC. It's not that PC could give that to you because Halo on the PC isn't gonna let you shoot fruits either. Like there's resources that we're willing to put into something. It's gonna cost something, and that trade off is the balance between what you get and ultimately, I guess how you feel about it, right? Like they're gonna put an amount of effort into making. I shouldn't even say effort because effort makes it sound like they tried less. They're investing an amount of money into this, right?
Yeah.
And they need to hire artists, they need to hire programs, and they need to hire quality assurance. There's all these different roles that need to be filled, and ultimately, like getting destructible fruits is going to cost something else that you would have got. And the question is whether that's worth it. And so I haven't played Halo Infinite, so I can't speak to the quality of the game. But Mateo says it's the tightest shooter he's played, like in a long time, or maybe the best ever, or whatever. It's like, are you willing to sacrifice the feeling of playing that game to do something that's, I would say, really close to meaningless?
Are you really willing to sacrifice tight just for something in her kitchen? Come on.
No, yeah. No, yeah. And for Halo, yes, I can understand that. For other games, no. Because once again, Halo is a fucking space pirate bullshit. Sorry for all
Space
Halo.
pirate.
It's the same.
Space
It's the same
pirates.
principle. Unless, from what I understood from having some indie devs on the show and asking them these questions, unless it's exclusive to only one API, which is PlayStation, the dev kits that are used first are on PC. Now you have to scale back enough resources so that these things are optimized, and we still have base consoles that are I don't want to be negative, that are holding back, that can only do so much. So you have to remove X amount of things in order for that hardware to make it work. It's just kind of it's like, why can't I put this fucking jet engine inside the chassis of my car? Well, it's not going to fit. Like, it's not going to fit.
See, this is why Sega had it figured out, because the Genesis, you could snap on the Sega CD, the 32X, the 56K modem adapter, and get online.
It was on life support, basically.
They had modular consoles. Imagine that in this day and age.
In other words, Mateo was a Sega kid. Okay.
Yeah,
Definitely
Big
was
Sega
a
guy.
Sega kid. And I had Sega and Nintendo, mind you, but Nintendo was always my little to play. But yeah, I agree. I guess like you got to sacrifice some things. You know, pick and choose which ones you rather have. Obviously, performance is higher on everybody's aspect, right? Unless you're doing like a story RPG like Final Fantasy. Anyways, like you want more graphics versus the performance. That's just
Tony,
how it goes.
think of it like you have an amount of chores that need to be done, right?
Fuck
But
chores.
there's more chores than hours that you have, right? You gotta mow the lawn, you gotta make your bed, you gotta scrub the bathroom down. ultimately you prioritize this list of things that need to get done, and the things that matter the most to you, and you in this case would be the fan base, right? Um, as you work through these things, there's going to be things, no matter what, there's always something to be done in your house, right? There's things that you're just not going to get to, and those things might be shooting the fruit. That's I think my whole point. I think it's the most reasonable way to understand that.
When it comes to chores, I'll just hire someone to do them. They don't have all the free time to do what I want.
For real, I don't want to do that shit. I think that's why I appreciate Naughty Dog games so much. I'm not like this Naughty Dog shill who says they make the best games in the world. I mean, lots of games are fun to me. But they put in these fucking details that so many people overlook, and how they add those details with the resources. It's like fucking sorcery. Like, that's insane to me. Do I have to have those things? No. But am I happy when I can get them? Damn right I am. So, like, I'm going to keep playing their games because I want to fucking see this level of realism that I don't get in a lot of stuff.
Like Kojima,
like DZ just shared that a video, I think, of Ellie laying on a couch. I didn't even know this was possible. There's like a couch in like some area or whatever, and Ellie's like laying there, like hiding from someone. And the way that she like tenses her legs to get leverage in order to throw a brick over the couch to like surprise someone. It was, it's just an animation that someone in Naughty Dog had to do, right? And to Tony's point, somebody spent time on that, and they didn't spend time on something else or whatever. But that feature, that detail is there so that people like Tony or people like DZ that appreciate all the minutia of, hey, I love the way that Ellie just tensed her leg in order to throw this brick over, the tall part of the couch, right? Those people are also satisfied.
Incredible. Like, have you, like, the way Abby ate a burrito? Bitch, that was real looking. I don't give a fuck. like that was impressive.
She ate the fuck out the burrito.
Oh, she did. I was like, damn, girl, you fucking eat that protein. Like, but it's so many. It's just crazy to me how much realism they're getting in these games. And I heard you say it, Kojima, baby. Kojima got them.
Yeah. I think
this man is a master.
Yeah, Crystal just got turned out, okay?
Oh, really?
I'm just gonna tell you, I tried Metal Gear Solid 3 and I'm like, I don't get this. I don't understand what. And then I tried Metal Gear Solid 5 and I'm like, I don't get it. This is weird. I don't get it. I don't understand the point. And I'm finally like, look, I'm going to give this Kojima guy a try. I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to do the Death Stranding thing. I don't think I'm going to like this game. It sounds silly to me. Walking simulator. I have been forever changed as a gamer. That rewired me. That changed that was the best narrative experience I've ever had in my life as a gamer. Been gaming for
Sadly.
Interesting.
Sorry, sadly that I didn't even beat the game. I didn't beat the game yet. I have not beaten the game. I was too invested in building roads for my fucking server. These assholes who didn't appreciate shit. I literally built 95% of the roads in my server. That's all I spent my time on, was building roads so everybody else can enjoy their fucking vehicles while they're driving. And I got no love. I got a couple thousands of hearts and shapes and happy faces. But it's like, bro, once I stopped, I think that whole server shut down. Because I had the roads from day one going all the way through the end, around the mountain, going through up the snow. Like, I built all the roads. That took a lot of energy and time that I didn't get to finish the game.
That's my only complaint, is that if the servers are kind of dead, you're not going to get the social experience you're supposed to. I kind of wish they had some kind of algorithm to AI that up a bit.
Yeah.
That would have made the game better,
okay,
for sure.
You need to finish it, because god damn that. And I'm not a crier. I don't cry a lot. I don't. Very rare. Occasionally my eyes might water a little bit. I had like a couple fucking tears running in the ending of this. I was like, god damn it. Like, you have to finish that game. I was just like, what this Kojima guy is brilliant. He's fucking insane, but he's brilliant.
Amazing. And he does both. He does performance and it's like an artwork. You're literally playing an artwork. And that's why I like Metal Gear. From like back in the day, Metal Gear was just pixie and whatever, but it gradually became this monster. And when Death Stranding, I bought. What happened? Why are you laughing about?
Pixie or whatever.
I mean, pixels. Like it's just like 2D.
No, I know what
graphics.
I meant. I know what I said.
Pixies.
I want the
pixies.
people to know what you meant. You know, the
The
pixies
people,
are the
the
pixels.
people by now should know how El Caballo speaks. All right, they should know. Get with the program, people. But no, like he did it. He found the middle ground to get both, and that's why I like Kojima. I can't wait for him to drop this fucking Silent Hill game. That's just rumors, but that shit would be amazing.
Dude,
That shit would be.
the director's cut is, I think, the best looking next gen game I've played all year. It is
Damn.
stunning, and it runs so smooth. It's buttery. Like they're fucking genius. There's some kind of wizardry. Like them motherfuckers went to Hogwarts or something. I don't know how to.
Yeah.
I don't know how to.
What house would Kojima be?
Ooh.
You know,
Ravenclaw.
can I just admit I've never seen or read a Harry Potter, so I don't know the house.
Me neither. You're in luck because
I've only seen the.
That's controversial. That's controversial. I know. That's controversial.
I'd say he'd be whatever the best house is. Kojima for me has been the most impactful developer. Like I remember when I first played Metal Gear Solid, it was to me the most incredible gaming experience that I've ever had. And repeatedly, he's just I love Zone of the Enders. I love Metal Gear Solid. I love all the Metal Gear games. To varying degrees, I rank them differently than maybe the majority of the fandom.
Snake Eater's underrated.
What was that?
Snake Eater's underrated.
Oh my, yeah. Snake Eater is underrated and overrated, I'd say. But I love Death Stranding as well. Like I played through the whole game. I did everything that you could. I got the platinum trophy. Like I did everything. The narrative didn't hit for me the way that I wanted it to hit. So I'd be in a different time. I'd be very interested to have I'd like Chris, if you could like hit me with like your impactful moments or maybe some explanations, because the game was so mind fucky for me that it didn't hit the way that I wanted it to hit. But I loved it all the same because for me I really enjoyed other aspects of the game like far more than the story.
At first, I thought the story intrigued me. Like out of the gate, it was a good story. If he didn't have as good of an intro, I would have quit the game before chapter 3 because I'm like, this is kind of, it's unnecessarily difficult. It's fucking walking. Why is walking so difficult? I can't fast travel. I have to go here and here. Like, it's going to be boring. Why is this supposed to be so long? But that was the fucking point. You were supposed to feel that frustration and that isolation that Sam felt. And then when you started to connect with people, right, because Sam had that condition, and I started to feel like in chapter 3, I felt what he felt. To me, that's a good video game, in my opinion, when I feel like I can insert myself and feel what my player feels. And I felt that. It was like, oh my God, I can make friends. Oh my God, I can get help. Oh my God, there's people out there that I can help. Like everything I do can make a difference to the people behind me. And I felt that it hit and it just kept hitting. And then you start to get attached to characters and sad things happen to them and you learn about people's stories. And it was like, and then the ending, I can't say anything about the ending because I can't ruin it for Tony.
You're not going to ruin it for me. You can go ahead. It's all right.
Oh my fucking God. Like, Unger, I really, really liked Unger the whole time. And I'm like, I really like him and I don't feel like he's a bad guy. And then you see his ending and I was shook. I was fucking shook. Like, oh my God, I was so shook. Like, this dude. You have to finish that, Tony.
I'll finish it then. Yeah, I have to.
And thinking about just a scene came back to me. One scene actually made me cry. I don't even remember fully, but it was the actress that she's in that Netflix show Made that I just watched it too. Is
Mama.
Also amazing.
Mama.
Yeah, Mama.
When you had to
cut the umbilical cord.
Yep, that scene got me.
That was so emotional. I got fucking shit. Like you felt that connection with the bit. Oh my God, that
BT baby, it was nuts.
Little BB with
BB. Yeah.
How far did you get, Tony?
All the way until where I stopped the nuke in the in the sinkhole.
Oh, you got a ways
That's
to
where I stopped
go.
at. Yeah, I still got a ways to go.
I the
I
thing
would,
that hurt me the most was the end of the game with your BB when you don't know if you can save your baby.
damn.
Like, I mean, I was like, my wife, she'll watch some of my games a little bit, but this game, she was like, loved it. Like, what happened? What happened? Like, she was so invested in watching me go on this journey. And we were just I remember, I'll never forget this moment. We were on this hill looking at the incinerator, and I put the controller down. I'm like, I can't do this. I can't lose this, but this my bit. I can't do this. I can't do this. And she was like really upset. She's like, we can't, you can't save the baby. You can't save I mean, it was like, fuck, man. That was hard.
That's how you know it's a great game. Shots to Kojima.
Shots to
Shots to
Kojima.
Shots.
I'll be honest with you. When I was playing Last of Us 2, I ended up really starting to like Abby. And then when I was Abby that had to go hunt Ellie in the theater, I had to I said, I got to turn the game off and take like a break for a day because I don't have it in me to hurt either one of these characters. Like, I don't want to have to do this.
Yeah, that's it. That's why games with great stories it's the path now. Like, if you got a great story, that's gonna suck. That's what Last of Us did. When I was in Xbox, I came back because Pucho was like, yo, get the PlayStation 4 Pro, get Last of Us. You'll be hooked. And I was never a story guy. I always online multiplayer, whatever. When I played Last of Us storyline, I was done. I was so hooked that I finished the game in a crazy time. I think under a week, if I'm not mistaken. Because I was just the story. It just, you wanted to know everything. You wanted to keep playing, and that's what grabbed me in, and that's what I fell in love with it. And then, of course, after I beat it, we played multiplayer, and that was the most toxic event for me, Pucho, and Doughboy. That was pretty fucking toxic. We almost lost our friendship. Almost.
There's a pattern here with all the stories that you guys are telling. And I think it's a story of capitalism. And I think if you noticed, all of the games that you guys love come from visionaries and that don't. Did you ever hear about the Uncharted series running out of time to make a game? I think the games are ready when they're ready, and then they come out. I think when you have to involve shareholders and these people are like, oh, this has to come out by Q4 of this, I think you run into a lot of those issues of games coming out super buggy. I think when you have a visionary like Kojima knows when the game is ready, and that's when the game will be done. And I think it's putting in that extra love into a game that actually makes it rememberable. And I think the bar also has been set so high that now we look for these small, minute details in every game that we played. And it's hard to do that. You can't do everything. That's why I like indie games. Indie games don't really have to set the bar so high. They make a game. It's supposed to be 1, 2, and 3. They hit those out of 10, and the game is amazing.
I was about to ask you, do you think that indie gamers have an advantage because they are on their own time schedule? They're not beholden to shareholders or the profit machine or anything. Because there's been some indie games that have hit me real fucking hard. To the Moon made me bawl like a fucking baby. That game was emotionally rough. Dear Esther, that stupid walking simulator, that game hit me. I don't know if it was just the mood I was in the first time I ever played through that game, but that game got me.
Yeah,
the Journey, that game company. Oh my god, I played through that game with my wife, and when that ending, yeah, I also cried like a baby, and yeah, indie games are special because, like Doughy said, there's some number of categories that AAA games hit across the board. You know, they may score 7 across all categories, and then there's a couple that they do really, really well. But like a game like The Witness, right? Which I don't really love John Blow's personal life. The guy who made The Witness, but he makes fantastic games. This guy, he nailed just 2 aspects to like a game. It's like the game looks pretty and the puzzles are good. and that's it. The story, dog shit. It's like non-existent. There's just like nothing else. Like even the gameplay is like as you walking around, it's like, man, I wish this guy walked faster. I wish I could like hop better. It's like, it's like no. It's just like you just go to puzzle, and the puzzles are amazing. And just those two things. The game is pretty, and the puzzles are good. And for me, that's a 10 out of 10 experience, right? And it speaks to the way that the perceptions and the expectations that gamers have, right? When I'm playing an indie game, I have a bar that's set. I'm not saying that it's low, like a low bar, but I have an expectation of, hey, this is an indie studio. They're trying to hit some niche categories and they're trying to hit them hard, right? And if they achieve that, to me, they achieved the goal, and I feel like I got my worth out of it. But yeah, when you play a AAA game like Tony's perspective, they're supposed to hit, in Tony's mind, 10 out of 10 across the board. They need to hit every single category 100%. Because they got the backing of venture capitalists. They could hire all the best talent and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, and then the all the previous games, like nostalgia's a bitch. Like all it takes is like 3 years since you've played another game to say, oh, the next game this company's gonna make is gonna be the best game ever because of blah 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 blah. And then when it comes out, it's like lackluster, not in comparison to the previous game, but of the game you've built up in your mind. And that in combination with fanboyism, in combination with the other people, that's another thing we haven't really touched on, is the other people that are so eager to shit on your game. The Halo fans aren't bitching about shooting fruit. It's all the fucking, I'm a Sony man. It's all the Sony motherfuckers that don't play any Halo games. They're the people that are shitting on the fruit shooting. Like,
it's true. That was started by wasn't that started by a big PlayStation person?
I that's my belief. That's what I remember. I could be wrong. But I feel like in general, those types of controversies tend to come from the other side that don't even consume that like content.
I just realized something very interesting here. Controversy makes for good content. If you think about it, the video games that we were talking about that affected us the most have been controversial. So maybe some human behavior is controversial by intention because the clout it generates.
Like Blizzard?
No, I don't think they did sexual harassment in the workplace to make to sell more copies of Overwatch.
Yeah, but are they selling any less? Because I see a whole lot of people complaining about them, but aren't they having like record-breaking profits?
Maybe that's the whole.
I think they are in everything except WoW. I think I have heard that a lot of people have left WoW and they've gone over to the only good Final Fantasy game since 7. And they've been playing that Final Fantasy MMO.
Final Fantasy 14, I think. It's huge. Everybody plays it.
Yeah, it's the best one since 7, apparently.
I heard that the Overwatch people that are playing Overwatch is down, actually, as well.
Maybe that's the whole maybe that's the whole point of the name, Overwatch. They needed someone to overwatch these dicks with all these harassments. So maybe that name itself is like, send me help, Overwatch. I need help. I'm getting harassed. Like, maybe, we just failed to.
Did you guys see that Bobby Kotick says that he's going to quit if he can't fix the culture in Activision? I'm like, well, damn, you should just quit then. Because I know you're not. Just quit now because you're not going to be able to fix it.
Some people would say that him quitting would be a big step towards fixing the problem.
That's what I was thinking. Isn't he one of the big like root problems of it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's what all the reports say.
Are you saying he's Joel? That he needs to die to make stuff better?
It definitely would drive the story forward, like it did on Last of Us 2.
Some would say that Ned Stark dying in season 1 is what made Game of Thrones great.
Damn.
Sometimes people gotta go. Sometimes you gotta break. I'm fucking up the saying, all right? You gotta crack some eggs to make an omelet, all right? Some along them lines.
We've seen so much content. It's like music, writing. You can only repeat the same stuff. There's a lot of copy paste. It's hard to be innovative and creative when we've seen the same things. over and over and over. So I think sometimes controversy is what grasps people. I mean, like Joel dying and parts of the story of Death Stranding, or how it's a walking simulator, but it's not. It's these controversial things that sometimes make things who and what they are. So I just think maybe some people, some creators hold on to that and can't get out of that controversial echo chamber because it's what gets them the attention they're looking for, maybe.
Well, I mean,
Bad publicity was good publicity.
the Strand genre is a hard genre to nail down.
Definitely is.
I mean, that's true. That's true.
I don't think
all publicity is good publicity. No.
Nah, bad is good. Good is okay, but bad is what brings people in.
Bad is even better. Bad is great. Good publicity is good. Bad publicity is great.
Crystal, I don't know if your audience is aware, but we have a running theory that Tony is an alien sent to infiltrate the planet Earth.
I mean, that could be. So I'm okay with that.
I'm here to probe all of you.
He has all wrong beliefs. He's like the caricature of what a human should be.
Favorite Thanksgiving leftover is bread.
His favorite Thanksgiving leftover is bread.
Okay, but what
You
kind
don't
of
have
bread?
if you don't see, that's what I'm fucking shots to that fucking question. That's what the fuck I'm talking. I'm on the wrong fucking podcast here. I'm on the wrong fucking one.
Okay, because you like them King's Hawaiian, them sweet motherfucking rolls. I'll eat that pack for days and days. And that
if you have a good bread, you have a great sandwich. That's all I'm saying.
That's true. And that shit makes a delicious sandwich because it's fucking sweet and it's fluffy.
Damn.
And you can't it's hard to fuck up bread. Like stuff just don't taste the same reheated, but I ain't got to reheat bread. So I'm sorry guys, but I'm kind of, look, Pucho, like I got to drink like the 64-ounce motherfucking whiskey. This bitch on the side.
Crystal's spitting facts.
You know what, Crystal? That's it. Next time we're in Florida doing our Would You Rather episode, we're gonna have to invite you down.
Where do you go in Florida?
Either Palm Beach or Orlando. Only 2 spots, really.
We've only ever done one in-person episode, and we got very drunk and played the game Would You Rather for 2 hours and change.
Oh my God. Yes.
It was pretty bad.
Yes.
Now, Palm Beach is Palm Beach is down south. It's about 3.5 hours from Tampa. If that's where
I actually live north of Tampa. I live in a small town where all cows live. Nobody knows what the fuck it is. So I just say Tampa because motherfuckers like, what the fuck is that country ass shit you live in? Don't nobody know it. So that's just why I say that. But it's not far. I'm like kind of wedged. Like I'm on the West Coast, about 90 minutes west of Orlando. And then I'm about an hour north of Tampa. So I'm like in this little like
panhandle. Do they call it the panhandle?
I'm way below the panhandle, but the panhandle's up. That's like the top of the weird. Florida's like a weird, like a penis. So that's like I'm like kind of in the sort of not quite the middle of the penis, but close. So like I'm almost
like the bottom of the shaft.
No, I'm maybe because we've got like the panhandle and then the meaty parts up here and. Yeah, maybe a little closer to the shaft. Yeah.
So for the game junkie people, just penises are weird. Okay, they're complicated. They're different. They're different shapes,
sizes.
People who aren't watching it and are listening can't see the pantomimes of me like grabbing an imaginary penis. And I'm not. It's no secret. I'm not a master of Is it penises or peni? I feel like it should be like
it's peni for sure.
Thank you. I love to drink and have these conversations. It should be like cactus, cacti, penis, peni. I think penis.
Moose, meese.
Well, I don't know about that, but you have like.
And I'm the alien.
Breast. Like I don't know. There's just. I feel like that's okay. That rant is over.
No, can I tell you something? What you don't want to know what I'm mad at when I don't see in games? More breast physics. They haven't put enough money into it, okay? I need dead or alive style breast physics.
God. Well, the Japanese make breast physics. Okay, so here, let's talk about something then that would be super controversial because I think if you said it on Twitter to the wrong people, they'd be like, you're a fucking perv. What's wrong with you? If we're adults, what's wrong with nudity in games? Like people had a fit that Cyberpunk had quite a bit of nudity in it, and like I guess some people streaming weren't allowed to stream it because it showed like, but we're adult. What's wrong with nudity being in an adult game?
I think as long as it's agreed upon, there's nothing wrong with nudity in games. What was that game? Was it Hard Rain or something?
Heavy Rain.
Heavy Rain, where they modeled who was it, Ellen Page or whatever the fuck? They modeled her nude without like telling her they were going to model her nude.
That's beyond Two Souls.
Beyond Two Souls. That's the one. Isn't that the same guy that made Heavy Rain and that one?
Yes, David Cage. But I don't remember any nudity from that game.
There was some kind of hack you could do in that game or something like that, and apparently he fully modeled her nude without telling her he was doing such.
The naked body is beautiful. I don't know why people are so upset about this in video games. Like, the fact that you can increase dick size and all that in Cyberpunk was a mind-blowing thing to me. I was like, I've never seen this in the game. These guys just broke a wall that I now probably want in another game of RPGs. It's like, yo, I would never thought I would think about, yo, I can get a 14-inch print in my damn sweatpants, and I'm good to go now. Like, I didn't think you needed that in the game, but hey.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. I was totally the first time I play an RPG, I try to make the character like me, and I try to make decisions that are reflective of what like real me would do. Totally gave myself a dick. No cap. Like I've been waiting for this moment, and I don't even think I shared my Cyberpunk story on the podcast before, so I'm going to fucking do it now because this is all about controversy. So I was excited because I'm like, oh my God, my V has a P. Like, this is all I've wanted in life, right? Is for my V to have a P. So I'm in the game. I don't know how I'm pantsless, but I'm pantsless. Sometimes it just happens. I just lose my pants. Okay. Shit happens.
Sometimes you got to Donald Duck it.
So, okay, well, I'm like helicoptering it and I'm all over the city. So like I get into a shootout with the cops, and then this glitch happens, and my wee-wee, because I gave myself a wee-wee. So my wee-wee was like next to my fucking face in the game. And then I'm like, and then splits, like my instincts kicked in, and I was like, I can't lose my dick. I just got it. Like if I die and respawn, I might look like a Ken doll. Like my dick, I can't play the rest of this game without my wee-wee because I gave it to because the game let me so I let the cops die. Well, why didn't you fight back? I was like, because I need my dick. I got to respond with my dick. I can't lose. No. I'm not willing to risk my wiener. Like,
welcome to being a man. No
was the shootout with the cops related to you being pantsless, or was that just incidental? Was that just
I don't know. Somehow I got pants. There is a weird glitch sometimes that you can't see your clothes on. Even like you go into I'll go into the menu to look at my skill sets, and I'm like, oh, there's my wiener. But I really had pants on. You just couldn't see them. But there
what
was
size did you choose?
The biggest motherfucker.
You maxed that motherfucker.
Max it out. Max it out. Max
this
it
is
out.
all about that.
Max
girth,
it out.
right.
Like I got like a 2 liter Coke bottle schlong. Just max it out.
Yes.
I was gonna say that Doughy, whenever he gets around to playing Cyberpunk, he's definitely gonna make a chick with a dick, guaranteed.
That's what I did. That's what I did. And then I tested it. Like I had an Elgato, and I made sure I played the game multiple times, and I wanted to see if I'm a chick with a wiener and then a chick with a coin purse, do I hook up with the Joy Toys differently? So I started multiple saves and recorded it to see if you still screwed them the same. Because I needed to know. I needed to.
This is called science, everybody.
Yeah, I needed to know. Like, why is it? I mean, if we're all adults, if a game company chooses to make games that have like weenies and boobs and it's a little graphic sexually, why is that like?
Yeah, you just rate it mature or for everyone. You know, it's just simple.
I think as long as it fits with the tone, like right. I don't want to know what Mario's packing under his overalls. I have zero interest in knowing what he's got going on down there. So it'd be real weird for Nintendo to drop a straight up like meat and.
He might have like a forward or like a 10-inch girth.
I mean, now that you mention it, I want to see what happens when he eats his mushroom. You know. Like, I didn't think about it before, but now that you're bringing Mario into this, I'm like, well, I'm interested. I'm intrigued now.
Do you think he takes down his overalls and it's just another toad down there?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Sorry, Mario. The princess is in another castle.
Sorry,
my
Game
God.
Junkies.
That's hilarious. I
Um,
think the tone. I mean, there are a lot of games that are very, very adult. I mean, Grand Theft Auto. Like, I'm gonna go to the strip club and make it rain on Sapphire and try to go home with her, and like that's like I'm gonna get kicked out of the Vanilla Unicorn for gropey gropey. Like, it's part of the game. It's not like it's fantasy. That's what you
Am,
do when you're in the
am
game.
I bad for getting in the car with the prostitutes, doing my business day in and day out, and me knocking them out, taking my money back? Am I bad for doing that in Grand Theft Auto?
No,
yeah, I think
Terrible.
you're.
in the world
Yeah,
of Grand Theft Auto, that's what you're supposed to do.
Right,
Like,
that's all I'm saying.
I think you're horrible, Tony. You paid the price. You got exactly what you asked for, and then you just reneged on the deal. That ain't right. E- So to your question, what's so wrong with that? I don't think anything in actuality. I think another issue that has absolutely nothing to do with gaming is just humans in general. We're very insecure about sexuality. We're very insecure about um, the things that we do in the privacy of our lives. I mean, like everybody knows, every on planet Earth, everybody knows we all masturbate, and yet we act like this doesn't occur. Like, I'm sorry I took a long shower. You know what the business is, okay? Like, you know what just happened, all right? I'm 12, I'm 13, puberty's happening, hormones running wild. Like, you already know what it is. Like, you were this age at some point. Like let's not make believe. Like, and I think it speaks to the exact same maybe the root of what makes us want to hide this from other people, or why this is shunned by the greater part of society. um we're just ashamed. We hide our sexuality. We hide what we enjoy in sex. We hide even like you said, what's wrong with sex in games? I'll take it further. What's wrong with being a pervert in a game? Like, it's just a video game, no? Like this is an outlet to experience things that you don't need to do in real life. Like, you get to be a pervert in a game. You don't have to be a pervert in real life. Isn't that like a good thing? Isn't that positive? But like you said, if you share something like this on Twitter, or in the gaming space, like, you'll get flamed for it,
well,
Yeah.
that is true. That's a good point. I know in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, as Alexios and Cassandra, totally slept my way through all the fucking islands. Like, I even slept with like the old gross sword guy. Like, I might die tomorrow. Let's do this. Like,
I played as Cassandra, and I fucked every single person that I
like
could.
that line when she goes, "There's another goat." I was dead. I was like, bro, that's the best thing that's ever happened to me in a video game. Like that's hilarious to me. Like, it's just kind of crazy to me because some people overlook how violent these games can be, but then the sex part makes them really weird. And I think you hit the nail on the head. Is there's a lot of things that we're embarrassed about, or maybe, I don't know if it's shame, but maybe prude. So is that why some people think that certain representations are political? Like, oh, you put a gay person in a game, it's political. No, gay people fucking exist, Brenda. Like, so
Yep.
do you think like part of the controversy? I think you're right. Is it's probably spawned from like that's a
It's a
we
social
don't.
thing. Yeah, like it's like people are not me. I'm more probably outspoken than these guys about my sex life and stuff. Like, cause it's just like, bro, we all fuck. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, why does it? If we can't speak about it, like, yo, I did this. Like, what do you guys think? Do you guys do this? Oh no, I don't, ew. Like, what do you mean ill, bro? We're adults. Like, we all know, we all watch porn. We all venture off into some extra porn, like, stuff that you didn't know you liked or whatever. But it's like, when it comes to the games, people are like, no, that's hands off. Fuck out of here. It's not hands off. It's hands on. I'm here to experience everything how I want it. Don't be fucking tight, just
God
enjoy your time.
forbid. Okay,
If
for
you're not
anybody listening to
watching,
audio,
yes, thank you. Let them know what he just did.
Tony's making a lewd gesture of stroking a nice, long, girthy penis. I mean, like, we're doing the full
full
stroking
sliders.
thing. Maybe there's some lubrication. The movement's too smooth, right? That's what Tony's doing. Okay.
Yep. to masturbation.
Healthy.
You make a good
Um,
point though. Like if I'm not a consumer of porn, I just don't go to Pornhub.com. So like, but if I'm not a consumer of a certain type of game, I just don't play it. So people wanting to police other people's fun or wanting to censor things because they don't like it is kind of part of that controversial aspect and part of that emotional connection. Like, oh, I really want to do this, but I don't want this to be in it. But the developers chose to put that in it, so it's kind of the way that it is.
I think the
I-
controversy is easy to skirt around though, because all you have to have is just that slider of sexual content on or off, and boom, done. You don't want to see the titties and the dicks and the penetration? Turn that slider off. What is it? What is your problem?
wow, it's almost like you're arguing for difficulty options.
Wait a
in
minute.
games, you know?
Are
Like,
there
you
any
could just-
games that actually show No, there's no games that show like
No.
no.
Oh, penis or
There's
penile? No.
there's plenty on
Yeah, but
Steam.
not
Steam has opened the floodgates for
I
straight up porn
own
games.
I own
Really?
some of those as well. Yeah, there's some full on porn games on Steam.
Really?
Pretty cool too. Yeah, interesting.
The Witcher gets pretty close to full on porno in some scenes. If you play through the
That
Witcher
bathtub
series.
scene.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I feel like, well, if you guys haven't played, Cyberpunk has some pretty racy. There's some pretty racy
I-
sexual.
now-
I
scenes
think
in
you're
there.
dealing with like another continent, right? Another group of people that have different social norms than Americans, who tend to be the largest consumers
That's
of these
true.
types of products. Um, to touch on another point that someone mentioned, but I've drank too much to truly remember. Somebody said something along the lines of like murder and sexual content in the games. I think it was Crystal, but
Yep.
it's so interesting to me, right? Like when San Andreas, right? This is a long time ago, right? They had the coffee, the hot
Hot
coffee, right? It was like a sex mini game or something along those
Yep.
lines.
Mhm.
It's so interesting that you could steal from people, you could murder people, you could get prostitutes. I mean, you could indiscriminately commit mass shootings all over the place. And the thing that people found the controversy on was that you could have sex with a consenting partner. This isn't even like a bad sex. Like this is someone who said, yes, I would like to participate in these sexual endeavors. Like, and they went to a location and they did what they agreed to. But this was the controversy, right? There's something about Americans and like our social norms that like we view sex as this horrible, horrible thing to show people. But like we're appalled that our kids are gonna play a game like San Andreas, but we're not gonna. We're appalled that our kids are gonna play the hot coffee scene in San Andreas, the sex scene, and not bat an eye to the number of murders and all the other things that go on in that game.
Yeah.
I find that dynamic interesting. I don't even know what to say about that. I don't. It leaves me kind of speechless. Like I just don't even know what to say. Like I'm just genuinely like I just want to take a step back and just look at him, and I just find it interesting. I'm like I can't fathom what drives a person to say this is such a horrible thing to include in a game, but all the other shit that's in there is like maybe it's totally fine now. Even though 3 years ago, sniping people in GTA 3 was creating mass murders, according to some news outlets. But then 3 years later, it's like whatever. San Andreas came out. We're done. We're over the whole murdering thing. Now we're just like we don't want sex in games. I have a hard time just sort of wrapping these ideas around in my mind. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I'm on the same page as you. Like drug use too. Like some games are really hard on drug use, and it's like you're okay with murder and like robbing people and doing all. I mean, video games aren't always about morals. It's an escape from reality. That's why we fucking love them. Like we would never do that shit in real life, but it's fun as fuck in a game. Like it's fucking fun. And I just adult content is adult content. I just whatever the developer decides to put in it, I'm gonna respect that decision. I don't know. I don't feel the need to censor those things. Games can be fun without all that, and they can be fun with it. But I don't understand why we cherry pick what's allowed and what's not allowed in adult content. Like I don't know. Anybody else have like thoughts on that?
It's
Remember-
forever changing. Like this world that we're moving or that we're going into right now, they got a little not sensitive, but like it's like for video games wise, it's like they gotten too soft, right? Like a lot of these people complain, like, "Oh, some games are too fucking hard." Bitch, I remember back in the day when I played Nintendo and I was fucking playing Mario. Some of those levels was fucking difficult as shit that I had to take a mind break for 2 days to come back and actually figure out how to beat the game. Like these people complain about stupid things that don't make sense. The first time I saw sex was God of War when you're fucking those chicks on the boat and you had to hit that shit to fucking make that shit rock even harder. I was breaking my fucking finger doing that shit. I probably replayed that game like 30 times. And it's like, bro, like things like this, yeah, as a kid growing up, it's like, oh, like, oh, it's bad to see that. No, we're gonna see that. We're gonna learn about that in school with your friends. You're gonna hear all that shit before you even get to a video game. So for people to be like, oh no, we can't put sex in the game. Nah.
What rating was that? I don't. What rating?
Oh, it was
that God
mature
of
for
War?
sure. I was
So
playing that
see,
shit.
so then
I was playing it.
theoretically, your kids shouldn't be exposed to it because there's labels on there for a reason.
Also, I don't know if you guys remember, but they have an edition of the game that's taken out. Like later on,
They took it out.
because it caused controversy that they took it out on the later copies.
Tony, to your point about difficulty sliders in games, though, this is where we differ because I think the difficulty sliders in games are a great thing. I would love to play a fucking casual mode of Bloodborne because I love the story in that game. I think that the world they built is so interesting. But that game's artificially hard. All those Souls games are artificially hard.
You're weak.
And
This is the ultimate controversy right here. We just fucking finally hit it.
and
You're weak.
and
You
on
need
the
to man
and
up
on,
and
and
play
on
the
the
game.
other and on the other side, accessibility options are so fucking important, and difficulty sliders are a huge part of accessibility options for gamers. I just saw a video the other day where they were raving about how great Forza 5 is for accessibility options because it has difficulty sliders, because it has the ability to connect with that huge Xbox controller they have for people that are differently abled and they need to use different methods for inputting. It's a kid playing Forza 5, steering with his feet with the controller. Like it was fucking cool. It was awesome.
That's awesome. That's amazing. But you know what you're doing when you're getting to go play Forza 5. That's a driving simulator game. There's a reason why I don't play Forza 5, but I respect it. Because that shit is hard. Literally fucking hard. And I'm just saying, like, if you're going to play a game, have the difficulties there. Bloodborne, yeah, hard as hell. Whatever. Only the strong will survive. Yo, back in the days, we didn't have this difficulty option. You just play the game and you beat it. And when you beat it, you felt fucking amazing. Like, yeah, I just fucking did that. Like, ain't no one beating me. Like when we played these games with Doughboy, the speed game, Need for Speed and all those time trials that I fucking smoked Doughboy in, he spent his whole life trying to beat my time. He can't do it. You know why? Because he played it easy. If you play hard, you condition yourself to be better every time.
But should we gatekeep games though? Is really what it comes down to. Like, should games only be enjoyed by true gamers? You used that statement earlier, and I wanted to bring that statement up because true gamer is a controversial statement in and of itself.
I mean, a previous episode that I just watched of the Game Junkie show had something to do with what some people would call casual or real gamers or something along those lines, right?
Yep.
I have two minds of this, right? I remember one of the worst decisions I've ever made in my entire life. Like I'm 31 years old. I went to, and this might resonate with Doughboy actually, or David, or Doe, or Uncle Doe, or the many names that my good friend that I've had since the tender age of 12, right?
But wait, you guys are like lifelong friends that go way back?
Yeah, I know. Mateo's a little later, like, high school time, like, the teenage, like 20 years old or so. But yeah, Tony and Doughy. Tony I know from the 6th grade, Doughy I know from 8th grade.
That's amazing.
Yeah. We all went to the same junior high school together.
That's how we could put up with each other's shit and not.
Yeah, otherwise I'd fucking write these people off. I don't want nothing to do with them.
I met Mateo when I was 12 playing Counter-Strike through video games on the internet. That's how I know Mateo, and I introduced him to the group.
Mm-hmm, for sure. But one of the worst decisions I've ever made in my entire life. I mean, like, I've switched majors in college. I've started sports, quit sports, started jobs, quit jobs, all types of shit. One of the worst things I've ever done in my entire life was my aunt took me to a game store. She knew a guy. Went to a game store and the guy gave me a free video game. He's like, pick any game you want, okay? Well, little Pooch, okay, he decided to go home with a Super Nintendo copy of The Last Action Hero, okay? Some might know as a hit from Arnold Schwarzenegger. A fantastic movie, horrible video game. I couldn't get past like the second board or the second level. And it was so fucking incredibly difficult. I just couldn't play it. And I hated the fact that I took this home. I was like, I could have took Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, or I could have fucking took anything. This guy had a video. It was like Funko Land back. It was like a for what are the not EB Games? What are the stores? GameStop, right?
GameStop.
This is GameStop back in like 1997. Okay, or GameStop.
EB, yeah, it was EB Boutique or some shit.
Right. It was Funko Land. I remember, and my aunt was like, "Yo, this guy." Yeah, he gave me a free video game when I was a child. He's like, "Yo, take any game you want. Just pick one." And I picked the wrong one. Okay, so there's that, and I also have a platinum trophy in Bloodborne. Okay, I'm gonna flex real quick.
There you
that's
go. That's a
tough.
big flex.
And I kind of side with Mateo here. I feel like there should be more options for gamers. Like one of the most incredible things that I saw, right, was playing The Last of Us 2. To circle back to a previous conversation, the accessibility options that are in that game are insane. They made the game in such a way that a blind person or a person who can't see or visually impaired, I'm not trying to offend anybody, they could play through the entire game without being able to see. So they have a lot of sound cues. Any form of color blindness that you might have, I feel like they've tried to account for it. They've provided a number, like a dozen different presets and custom colors and things of that nature. They've done a ton of different things. Does that make The Last of Us 2 a lesser game? Like, because I love the experience all the same. And when I say loved, I mean I had very mixed experience that made me think very deeply about what I had, but I cherished those feelings that I had. So to me, I love that game. Does that make it a lesser game that it was available? Because I know a number of fans of the games that Miyazaki makes, the Bloodborns, the Dark Souls, and the Elden Ring that's going to come out really soon. I'm really hyped for that. It's the most offensive thing that you could ever imagine to suggest including a difficulty option in those games. Does that truly make it a lesser game for me? That I'm willing to play it at whatever difficulty is intended or the hardest difficulty or whatever. Like, does that make it lesser?
I think it's the formula that's different. It's like Miyazaki's formula is supposed to punish you, whereas other games you can play it on a punishing difficulty or somebody can play it on easy and it doesn't change that formulaic experience. At least that's how I think it goes.
I mean, if difficulty decides how good the game is, then like Super Ghouls and Ghost and fucking Contra are the best games of all time. Like how anyone makes it through Contra with 3 lives, I have no idea. I don't think I've ever made it past the first stage.
Ninja Gaiden was harder.
I know. And I heard you beat that. I heard you beat that back in the day, Crystal.
I think when I was 8, I beat the first Ninja Gaiden.
I never beat Ninja Gaiden.
You see how they all respect you right now? Do you see what I'm saying? When you beat games that are difficult, you get a level of respect. Like I respect the shit out of Pucho because I hear nothing but complaints about Bloodborne, and he's got a fucking plat. Like, and mind you, I'm not a trophy hunter. Like Doughboy and Pucho are. They trophy this, trophy that, completion 100%. I'm here to play the game the best of my abilities. I don't need to get a trophy for it, but if I get it, I get it.
Tony, as I've grown up with video games, I think I've been there since almost the beginning of video games. I'm a little bit older than y'all. The Atari was my first console that I remember playing on.
Me too.
As I've grown up, I would rather spend my time not just beating my head against a wall trying to beat a game. If a game is just blocking me, I'm gonna move on to other shit. There is so many games out there now. My backlog on games is ridiculous. So I don't enjoy artificially hard games as much as I used to. Like,
That's the problem. You gave up once, and then you just start giving up. It's a trend
no,
you set yourself for.
no, there's just so much other shit to play. Like, I could go and grind out Bloodborne. I know I'm absolutely capable of beating that game, but is it worth sacrificing playing Red Dead Redemption 2 or any other huge time intensive game to beat my head against the wall and beat Bloodborne? I don't think so. I'd rather experience as much of gaming as I can.
Kind of feel you on that one. Like, I mean, this is one of my last weeks of being in my 30s because I'm about to turn 40 really fucking soon here.
Wow, you look young.
Like,
Yeah, I would have put you at 30.
30 for
No,
sure. Like, you're young. That's good.
About,
So you're on the
about to
verge
be
of
40. So, like,
the big 40. That's
the
incredible.
big 40, I don't know how many years of gaming I got left. I wouldn't, as an 8-year-old, Ninja Gaiden, I was like, fuck this. I got the patience and the time. I wouldn't do it now as an adult because I'd be like, fuck that. I'm going to play something else. So I
get it. Maybe
I
it's
get it.
different. Maybe it's different when you're getting older. But for me, there's certain games that I'll probably like, and I'm maybe be contradicting myself right now. But sure, maybe some games I would let slide by because they're less important. But important games to me, yeah, sure, I would want to beat the game. You know what I mean? I do want to beat it, and I don't know. Maybe that's just the multiplayer in me. I'm a multiplayer head. That's probably.
I think you're all kind of proving. Really, the point here is that controversy exists because everybody has different opinions, but like none of these opinions are wrong. It's that simple. Like, and we can see it and absorb it and share our own, and like we're going to coexist at the end of the day because none of this is wrong. We just have different opinions.
Right. To kind of I guess
Piggyback.
fortify Mateo's previous comment in a previous episode of the Game Junkie Show that I listened to. A good friend, Logic, right? He said
Love him.
he puts an effort to try a wide breadth of games. He said something like he does 2-3 games a month or something.
He tries to
like
play. He tries to play a total of 25 games per year. He's got his own little blog, Rounding Off Infinity, where he'll write about them. But he tries to. Yeah, he's like very methodical in his approach.
So he looks at the total number of games throughout the year, and he says, I'm gonna try like 2 games a month. He'll get to like 24, 25 or so games, and he says he's touching some 5-10% of the total titles that are released over the year. Yeah. And to Mateo's point, there's too many fucking games to be like spending a third of the year. Like I remember I got the plat on Bloodborne, like Mateo said, right? Like, but I slaved on that game. I remember like it took me months to get through the game and do everything and all that stuff. And it's like, is it worth it? Like, are there just not necessarily better experiences, but would you be better off having more unique experiences? Like there's a trade-off there that it's hard to measure. And I don't think it's as easy as saying as like, oh, you beat the game, so you get like the cred for that, Well,
I mean, none of us are saying, and I think that you can't say that anyone's more of a real gamer because Tony's going to spend 6 months playing nothing but Battlefield 2042, basically, compared to someone that's going to play every new indie game that's coming out over the next like 6 months. Is that person more of a gamer than Tony because they play more games? Fuck no.
No, you just love the game. You do what you love. You play what you love. That's it.
Yeah. If you play games, you're a fucking gamer.
Yeah, and I used to shit on indie games. I used to think like those games are fucking trash, this and that. Over the time, I've gained love and respect for these indie guys because like they put their heart and soul into a game to make it good, and you kind of, the AAA games kind of overshadow those guys, right? They like this is what we want, AAA. But when you start playing like these indie games, it's like, damn, like these games are fun. Like they literally made it for you to enjoy peacefully, to play and take it in. And it's just, I learned to appreciate these guys. All the indie guys out there who make these games, keep doing it. You guys are fantastic, and shots to you. Like, you guys changed my view on fucking games. No, seriously, they changed my view on games. Like, I used to shit on indies, but now I respect it. Shots to you guys. I respect you
Tony's
guys.
down to get us blackout drunk before
Pucho-
the end of this episode.
Pucho looks like he's regretting that shot. There was some serious thought that went into
No
that shot.
regrets. I got no regrets. Okay?
No
I got
raggarts, baby.
No
No
raggarts.
No raggarts. Can I just point out that Pucho said something earlier that like was fucking hilarious. I had to write it down when he was talking about adult content in games and how the sexual nature in games has always been consensual. And he said, "Yes, I would like to participate in sexual conduct." Like, I just don't think that phrase got enough attention. So before we wrap up, I have to share that because that was fucking hilarious.
I appreciate that.
That's so good. Like, I just want, like, that needs to be the. Would you like to have sex tonight? Yes, I would like to participate in sexual conduct. Good, me too.
When I come, I like to come correct. All right.
Man, that deserves another shot.
Wow. Is that Jameson you're drinking?
Yeah.
All day. We JMO boys over here.
Look at, I recognized it. I knew what it was. Look at that. Okay.
Yeah. Try to keep up with us, Crystal, because Mateo did the first time and he got blacked out.
I
Trust
think he meant don't try.
Yeah,
like,
I don't-
live your life. Just be
yeah.
good. You know,
A
you
little
got-
bit. I wanted her to try it.
I mean,
No,
I don't
it's
know
the
that I could keep
afternoon.
up, but I'm pretty. I'm pretty good. I'm a pretty good drinker. Pretty good. I'm pretty proud of my. Well, we ain't gonna go there. We ain't gonna go into what Bad Crystal used to be like. We ain't
Oh.
gonna do it. No, we ain't gonna do it on air. We ain't gonna do
Is
it.
it like that guy Gator? Gator don't play no game.
I don't-
Fucking classic movie, bro.
Dude, I don't know.
They
but
don't
we
play
ain't
no
gonna-
shit.
So look, let's talk about you guys for a little bit as we wrap up. Tell us, my beloved Uncle Doe baby, where can everybody find the One Up podcast on Twitter so you guys can check them out and give them a follow?
We are on Twitter at the One Up Pod _, if I believe.
At the beginning.
At the beginning _ One Up Pod. We
Right.
got at Mateo is a twit. We got Tony Tone 561, right?
5611. Don't
Yeah,
fuck around.
561.
Oh,
1.
we're dummies. We don't even know our own Twitter. The underscore's at the end.
Yeah, no, Mateo,
This
you
is
don't know our Twitter.
smart.
When
Yeah,
you said
but
at the
you up,
beginning, I was appalled. I was
Yeah,
like,
I was shocked.
Well, no, it's also at the One Up podcast, not at the One Up Pod.
Okay.
Oh my lord! Okay, does somebody else want to take over this task?
I'm butchering
sorry.
this. I'm
we're
sorry,
at
guys.
the One Up Podcast _ on Twitter.com. All right, people. We are on YouTube. We are on Spotify. We're on Google Podcasts. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Amazon. We're everywhere except for fucking Pandora, okay? They have a ridiculous review process for audio podcasts,
Yeah,
but
fuck
we ain't
those
going to
guys.
worry about that.
Stitcher too. Stitcher was a pain in the ass. I'm like, nah, fuck you guys. In the pinned post, you guys will see below. I'll have links so you can find the show on YouTube, on Twitter, and you'll be able to find all these guys. And then if you listen and you want to go to Anchor, I'll make sure to put all those links there as well. So tell a little bit like how now you guys met in junior high, right?
Yeah,
Sixth grade, yep.
Yeah, I met
I met-
Tony first day of 6th grade.
Yeah.
They sat me next to him in math class, and then the rest is legend.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. We were both ADHD kids and
Hmm
right next to each other, clowning away, just not giving a fuck.
I think all the way up until high school, they had to separate me and Tony whenever we were in a class together. We would have to sit on the opposite side of the class because we would create too much. Yo, you're Mr. Mills.
Lizard neck.
Yo, I think he literally got us out of each other's class. He's like, you guys can't even be in the same vicinity with each other.
He couldn't teach. We destroyed that class. Like he couldn't teach at all. And then I met Pooch also in 6th grade that same year. In the morning there was like if you get there early, you get like donuts. You could play a little bit of basketball, and that's where I met Pucho.
Yeah, the fat boys show up for donuts and basketball. It's a good incentive, all right. We're from what some people would say the ghetto, okay, and they incentivize people going to school. And yo, shout out to Jam Club. It was like a Christian thing, you know. Y'all already know I ain't about none of that religious shit, but it was a good thing. It got me going to school every day. Like, it's like, all right, I get some donuts, I get to play some basketball with friends. It's like, it was cool. And then of course Mateo, that for me, I've made connections with him much later, but through Doughy. Doughy knows Mateo also from those exact same years, like the 11, 12-year-old time frame. And, they met playing Counter-Strike on the internet. So they're like, some people say you can't really make friends on the internet. It's like, Mateo for me is a lifelong friend who's a second-hand internet friend. You know what I'm saying? He's a friend through a friend from the internet, right?
Right.
It took Doughy and me like 13 years or something to meet in person. Like
Yep.
we met well into our internet friendship. And he came down, or Adam met you in Austin, in New York, actually. Then Doughy came down in Austin, and we just started doing a yearly thing where we'd all hang out together. And then that's where I met Pucho and Tony. As they alluded to, that first night, their drinking style is so different than our drinking style here in Austin. You get a shot glass in front of you, and that shot glass gets filled, and you take that shot at your leisure. I wasn't aware of this, so every time that shot glass got filled up, I was just taking a shot. It's a dangerous pattern to get into.
Oh God, I didn't know y'all in real life when I was younger. Oh my God.
But Mateo as our wordsmith on our pod, because out of everybody here, Mateo's the best with the words. Do you want to give like a little elevator pitch of what our thing's about?
Yeah. I like Crystal's review of us. I think that calling us wild in the best ways. That's one of my favorite descriptions of our podcast. We are we're kind of bottled chaos sometimes. We are a lot of people with different views. A lot of us grew up in the ghetto or ghetto adjacent. My high school was ghetto as fuck. These guys grew up in the hood, as they say. And we are four brown boys trying to make ourselves better. We're trying to one up ourselves every day.
So that's where one up comes from. It's not necessarily the gaming.
It wasn't
term.
It wasn't necessarily that to begin with. It was kind of nebulous, but it's
Gotcha.
we grew into the name rather than the name defined us, you know?
Yeah. I mean, watching the show, because I try to catch a lot of your shows, and then seeing how you interact online kind of gave me the idea to come up with the show idea exclusively to do with you guys, because y'all guys are, you joke around a lot, right? You have a lot of fun, as you can see, but you guys are always trying to figure out what makes this tick, what makes these people think this way. Why is this the way that it is? And you're always questioning things. And I'm definitely like that a lot too. But sometimes that's really hard for people because they feel so personally attacked.
But that's the sweetness with all of us, because since we know each other for a long time, we don't mind attacking our personal feelings at times. So, and sometimes you could tell, just like we're human, so our emotions will bleed into the pod. But at the same time, it's like we can cancel it, talk about it, work it out, and then come back and do it again. So that's something that I think we key on very well. And if people's some new people, you can't talk like that. Like I can't talk to some people like how I talk to Pucho or Doe or Mateo because
they don't know you, so they
Exactly.
don't know. They don't know if you're joking. You can't always tell on the internet, is that person coming from a place of hate, or are they just
joking?
These are some of the most interesting friendships that I have in my life. There is a lot that goes into each and every week that we produce content. Sometimes we produce a video and we argue for 5 days after the video. Like, just we're still arguing about like the shit that we talk about for 5 days. We're arguing until the moment we record the next episode. We've had to do so many mediation calls, but this is a lot of growth. A lot of growth is pain. A lot of growth is exploring these ideas that you have and figured out, why do I have this idea? Why is this why I think the way the world should be? And growth is painful sometimes, and friendship should be painful, but friendship should also be growth. You should have people in your life that help you grow and become a better person. Why would you want someone in your life that's not going to help you do that?
Exactly.
There's a lot of fucking shit right there. That's facts.
That's a major fact. And I'm actually saddened because prior to this whole pod, right, prior to this recording, I had like I had something in my head like days ago, and I totally forgot about it. I wanted to touch on, and I'm not gonna get into it too deeply, but what I think of is toxic positivity. Like the people who think you need to be positive all the time, every single day. To me,
Toxic.
that's exhausting. I think because I'm a pretty negative person. Okay.
I think people think that about me because I choose not to air my dirty laundry a lot. Like I choose not, like if I'm upset, I don't immediately go to Twitter and tweet it because I'm pissed. Like, cause I don't, so I tend to be one of those people that says a lot of positive things. And I'm sure that there's people out there that think I'm being fake with it.
Right. And I'm not speaking to the because I also I'm a believe it or not, as a person that I put myself on the internet, I got recordings on this. I'm a pretty private person. So I don't any problems like that I might have with my wife or my friends. I'm not one of those people that run to the internet to like express that because
Same.
I feel like there's kind of a betrayal of the conversation or the conflict that we might have had. Like there's a path to remediation here, and by airing the dirty laundry, like that kind of muddies the waters, I think. But there are people that it's not so much that you only spread positivity, it's the whenever someone has a dissenting opinion, it's like let's shit on that. We only want to talk about the positivity of our experiences. And when people are actively trying to shut down criticisms and negativity and things like that, that it always gives me pause because maybe I have like a negative view on life, but I like to view things. When I view things, I always think about how this could be better, what I would change, what could be different. And it's not for malice, it's because I strive to, again, like Mateo said, to one up myself every single day. So when I have a negative experience, I view it as, all right, what could I have done differently? Like I fucked up. How could I be better? Right? That's not to say that I'm a shitty person before. It's to say I could be a better person in the future, right?
We can't do that if we aren't as receptive to trying to figure out where we. I do have to ask a question though. When you guys were filming that one show, Mateo, how did you end up introducing the show as the Game Junkies show? Do you remember that? Like, how did that happen? That was so hilarious.
We were talking about something that I think it was the authenticity in gaming conversation. I forget what conversation it was that we were having, and it brought me back to your show. And so I was making a joke. I was like, "Oh, we're just stealing Crystal's content at this point. We're just the Game Junkies show, I guess."
Ever since Pucho got on your first, I've been trying to follow and comment and show as much support as I can because it's in a very loving way. When you embrace one of my people, I want to embrace the people who embrace my people, because how I introduce these guys, some of these guys to each other, I feel the same way with and I saw how kind you were to Pucho, and I saw how welcoming you were, and that was like
Pucho's my
amazing to me.
baby. Y'all
Yeah,
are too. Y'all are my family now.
Nah,
Y'all
you
are my
good.
family.
You can
That's
keep
how
that.
it
You
goes.
can keep that fake love, Crystal.
Wow. All right, because he's an alien. Tony, you can fuck off.
Nah,
Crystal, I love you, and everybody else loves you. Tony loves you too. He's
I
just
know.
abrasive.
I love to. Well, no, Tony and I would fuck with each other in real. That's just like because I know he's joking, and I would like we would probably like banter with each other and tease each other, and I'd be like, Tony, you look like DJ Khaled. Fucking stop. So
hey, another one.
So he'd be like, "You look like fucking Justin Bieber." Fuck up. But like that's sometimes you have that fun with people.
He apparently once snuck into a club by claiming he was DJ Khaled, but he didn't even get the name right. What does he say?
No, I said
Cali.
I'm DJ Khaled's cousin, and I get
Says
into clubs
Cali.
without
DJ Khaled.
lying. You guys are just shitting on my whole thing. All right,
You kind of you do like
I got
the
into
way
clubs like
you're.
that.
Yeah. If anybody isn't watching, you're listening. You kind of could pass as a DJ Khaled close relative.
He's DJ Khaled, but 6'1", you know, he's just a little bigger.
Is DJ Khaled a little guy, a short guy?
He's short. Yeah, he's short. He's not as tall as me, but yeah, he's got bigger pockets. It's pretty much the difference there. But I want to go back to the name, the One Up Podcast, because it's a lot of people, our fans don't know how the One Up came about is an attack on me, because for example, Pucho could be like, "Yo, I just got this new PS4 controller or PS5 controller," and I'll come in and shit on it and say, "Yeah, but I just got the newer one with the color." And and they always say, "Oh, there goes Tony doing the one up on somebody." Like I'm always trying to be above somebody or do something better than the next man. And we kind of brought that in the name to the pod, but now it became something better, right? So we one up the one up word itself.
It evolved.
Do you
Yeah.
do that as a
Evolved.
joke? Like, is that just your
I never
kinda your
do
sense
it
of
on
humor?
purpose. It just naturally
Naturally.
happens. Like I don't mean to do it, but these guys think I do at times. But I just add my input or my thing. But oh yeah, but I got this too. And they're like, damn, the one up. No one can have something around Tony. It's like no,
You
I'm
you
not trying to
can
do it.
Yo, Tony, you cannot play a brand new game with you in the same party chat as each other. Any brand new game that comes out, you can't say anything without him being like, "Oh, but have you gotten this yet?"
We do
No.
this thing, right? Where we all jump into like a PS5 party chat. We're all in each other's ear while we're playing through a game. And Tony naturally, through either competitiveness or just the fact that he's an asshole, for lack of no, not like he's just purely an asshole. That's the best term. We'll be in a party. He might not even be ahead of us in the game. He'll just try to like hype it up. He'll be like, "Oh shit, did I just get the fucking machine gun with the triple clip and the blah 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 blah?" And he wants you to feel envious of whatever position he's in. And he'll say that he doesn't mean to. He'll say that it's just natural. I say, Tony's been an asshole my entire life that I've known him. Okay, and I love the guy all the same. But
I mean,
you're an asshole, my
is it part
friend.
of your sense of humor?
Yeah,
I mean, you've joked around with these guys like you've shit on them, but you laughed when you did it. So I'm just wondering if that's like part of
that's
your
what it
sense of
is.
humor.
It's just it's my sense of humor. Like some people could take it like, oh wow, this guy's a dick. Like no, I'm just joking. Like I'm not. I don't really mean to shit on them. But if they were to step to me and be like, I'm a better gamer, I would shut that shit down quick. Let's not get it twisted. I'm a double edged sword here. I'm nice, but if you want to step to me, I'm gonna slice you up a little bit. And for the most part, Doe and Pucho kind of got both of those swords throughout life. So I'm all fun in games, man. I'm trying to be happy. I'm trying to crack, make jokes, and just enjoy the game. That's it.
Kind of me too. I'm like very much. I like to make a joke about it, and especially hard stuff. Hard stuff in my life, I like to make a joke about because it's just so fucking hard to deal with. Laughter is the best medicine for me, but I'm careful online because people might, think you're. So I know I get you guys. I get where you're coming from when I see you. Like I know it's from a place of love and it's never from a place of malice. It's just having a good time and
Sometimes a big part of comedy and relief comes from making fun of the situations you're in.
and that's so controversial. Like that's just it's very controversial to sit there and say I'm going to make fun of something that's really really fucking challenging that affects a lot of people.
Mhm.
These guys are some of my brothers, for better and worse, for all the good and all the bad that entails, because most of us here grew up with brothers, and you know how that relationship can be. These are my brothers.
Yeah, I don't have brothers. I only have
I don't
two
either.
younger sisters. So it's like, I have a collective group of guys I call my brothers, and and these are the guys that come to me and be like, "Yo, you're fucking up, bro. Like, you kind of crossed the line." Because sometimes I do, and I don't mean it. I don't try to do it, but it happens sometimes. So, you have to take people's feelings into an account, and sometimes it kind of passes me because I'm always joking, and people don't see my jokes. Sometimes come off really too much, but that's something again I have to one up myself in and get better because
And
every day you can learn.
that's true, and that's really I think essential to the discussion about controversy is sometimes people are out there and they just want to shit on you and say awful things, right? Fuck those people. Sometimes people don't really, they're not trying to come from a place of being, they don't know that they've hurt your feelings. So maybe sometimes people aren't bad people and you just maybe can talk to them and get through whatever has said or whatever has happened. And Doughy has left again. I was going to close with that. Like that's
I'm
some
so
pretty
sorry.
good words of wisdom. But then Doughy's like, "Fuck your words of wisdom. I'm
Doughy-
getting up and
Doughy
leaving
likes to
screen."
Doughy likes to take an exorbitant amount of pisses.
He has a
okay?
very small bladder. Some would say as small as a mouse.
And so he pees a lot.
That's.
So sorry,
Okay.
Crystal. Where were you going with this?
I
I'm
was
so
just,
sorry.
No, it's fine. I'm just giving you shit. I'm just saying that if you see something that's controversial, don't automatically dismiss it. You got to use your judgment here. Like if you feel some type of way, think about it. Step back, think about it. Does it seem like this person's coming from a really bad place, and maybe there's somebody that you don't want in your space, or maybe the person didn't mean to say something that was offensive. And like Tony said, there's always something to learn. Try to embrace differences of opinions. Try to be respectful when you share your opinions. I mean, controversy makes good content in some cases, and it's always going to exist if you have opinions. So try to have fun with it. Try to be good to one another. Try to learn and try to teach people along the way. And that's the moral of today's show, kids. And the word for the day is titties. So where did Pucho go?
Oh, his camera does
That's
this
so
sometimes.
interesting. I just went away.
No.
His
Oh,
camera does this
no.
sometimes.
What a way to end it.
What a way to end it. What a way to end it. Well, oh well. Is it going to come back on, Pucho, or are you like...
He had to restart his computer last time. I think we might just have black screen Pucho.
Well,
Classic shit.
With that, folks, I thank you guys for coming on and for a great... There's Pucho! So thanks, everybody, for watching or listening to the Game Junkie Show. Thanks to the One Up podcast for being here today. And we will see you guys hopefully next week. Bye, everybody.
Love you guys.